Good evening.
I love Tyson.
It's time to call to order the Guthrie Public Schools Board of Education regular monthly meeting, Monday, May 14th, 2018. Roll call, please.
Smedley. Here. Pearson. Here. Pennington.
Here.
Bennett Johnson.
Here.
Davis. Here. Watts.
Here.
Salee.
Here.
Mr. President, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we begin this meeting, let us pause for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Agenda item 6, Foundation Insurance Student of the Month.
Blake Whimsy from Foundation Insurance, and I think he has a presentation for us.
Hey guys, I'm Blake Whimsy with Foundation Insurance, and I'm here to help honor our April Guthrie Public Schools Student of the Month, which is Miss Grace Moonguy. She was nominated by her teacher, Kim Barrett, and I would like to read to you guys what she wrote on her application. Kim writes, I've had the pleasure of knowing Grace since before she was old enough to attend Guthrie Public Schools. Grace has grown into a fine young lady with a heart of compassion and curiosity. Grace is always willing to help a friend and has, since early childhood, given half of what she had to someone else, just because she could. During the 2-week teacher walkout, when most kids were at home sleeping in and enjoying the days away from the classroom, Grace was at the Capitol supporting the teachers and campaigning for her right as a student. Grace was there every day, and if her mom couldn't come, she arranged to ride with a friend. Every day, Grace would arrive with home-baked goods for the faculty and staff. She even made her way to the Capitol building and listened to the position of the lawmakers. While many other students were at home awaiting the phone call regarding school the next day, Grace was educating herself on the front lawn of the Oklahoma State Capitol. Grace has a generous heart and a curious mind. She exudes the true spirit of a Blue Jay. So, Grace, thank you so much. That's awesome. And just what we're looking forward to the month. So on behalf of Foundation Insurance, we have a $65 gift card to Spaces Place. Okay, Guthrie, you're welcome.
I forgot.
There we go. Gotcha.
Close the drinks.
One of these guys.
Technology. Thank you.
Thanks, Blake.
Sure thing. Agenda item 7 is student recognition.
Yes, we have our state champion golf team with us tonight, and I'd like to introduce
Well, those of you who know me know I'm pretty shy, so this is not my specialty right here. I'd like to introduce these guys. This is Coach Sean Morgan right here. This is Bo Robbins, Luke Dale.
Stand up. Stand
Stand
up.
up. Luke Morgan, who was third individually in the state tournament. Luke Roach, Brady Herzl, and Jackson Herzl. Got to be careful about saying Luke around this crew right here. You get a bunch of people turning around. But these are your 2018 5A state champions in golf this year.
Yeah.
I'd just like to thank you and the board for having us tonight, and it was an amazing accomplishment that these guys did since I've got most of these guys 2 years ago. All they've talked about is winning the state championship. We got really close last year. We won the public school last year. We got the whole thing this year. So they beat those guys that beat us last year, and they really worked hard, put the time in. The last week before state, they were out there every night till dark, and just did a really great job. Every one of them, we couldn't have done it. You know, sometimes in golf you got 2 or 3 really good players, and they carry the team all the time. These guys right here in the state tournament took every one of them doing their job at different points during the day. It was I'd like to thank the parents. I know Chris Herzl's here tonight, and Marvin Dale's here tonight, Seth Robbins here tonight. These guys' parents are outstanding. They support them all the time. And if you've never watched golf, guys, it is really gut-wrenching watching kids that you care about play golf, because it is a roller coaster sometimes, up and down, and fluid and always changing. But we're really proud of these guys, and looking forward to having all of them back next year, by the way. So they'll all be back next season. So
Yeah.
thank you guys.
Good, thank you.
I'm messing up. What? I got him close.
He was first.
Thanks, guys.
He just didn't stand up.
I wanted to mention, I had a chance to go over and watch him play a little bit on Monday, and as a former high school golfer myself and a former golf coach, I was very impressed with the attitude and demeanor that I saw from all of you. You represent our school in a class manner, and I know that you have the brightest stage at the state tournament. The pressure's high, and then when you're in the lead, the pressure's even higher. And I compliment all of you for the way you handled adversity at times, and also listened very well to the coaching staff. Great job, guys. Good. And you guys, we've got a couple more, another presentation for students and teachers, and then you guys go unless you just want to stay for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, we'll leave. They're going.
Okay, agenda item 8A, Kiwanis presentation of student recognition.
H.C. Patel from Sleep In is here, the Kiwanis Club.
Abigail, would your parents have No? I'm H.C. Patel from the Guthrie Kiwanis. We started this program a couple of years ago, and it's to get the kids thinking about how to apply for a scholarship when they're in their senior, and to get them thinking in that mode. And this year, our sophomore is Gabrielle Muffet, and it's for $250, and she can spend it however she wants. That is one of the programs we do have, and another program is we have this year we have 3 1,000 scholarships for the seniors as well to give out as well. And you know about our Christmas auction as well, and I really appreciate everybody being part of that as well. Thank you for the book.
Thank you.
All right, I'll find a time for you.
Agenda item 9, presentation of certified and support employee of the month.
Mr. Ogle?
I'd like to remind the board this would be the last month, so we start back again in the fall. We have a Sonic gift card for $25 provided by the Lions Club. Integrity Heat and Air has a $25 Missy's gift card and a $25 Walmart gift card, and they receive a plaque. Our certified was not able to be here, but because it is the last month, I wanted to read who nominated her and her name. And Angie Smedley nominated Patsy Kinsey. Ms. Kinsey is committed to serving our students with special needs at DHS. She is a true leader in the special education department and high school as a whole. Ms. Kinsey never hesitates to help when there is a need. This was made even more evident when she volunteered her time during the work stoppage. Ms. Kinsey helped administer the ACT test to students who needed accommodations. In her typical style, Ms. Kinsey was there with an encouraging word and a smile. Ms. Kinsey is a dedicated educator whose attitude and work ethic is an encouragement to others. So we'll make sure that she gets her award, and we'll get a picture taken. Our support is a little bit of a surprise. You guys know me, I don't like to tell secrets, but Jana, will you please? What some of you guys may not know is we have had, or been a little short in the finance department, especially in payroll. And one thing we all agree on, we like to be paid. And so I nominated Janet, I'll read why. It is with great honor that I nominate Janet Fry for the April Employee of the Month. Jana has stepped up the last 2 months to help with payroll while an employee was out on leave. Without Jana, these last 2 weeks, the district monthly payroll could have been in jeopardy, but with her hard work and the monthly payroll went smoothly. Not only has she been an asset in helping with payroll, she has answered numerous phone calls from upset staff and parents with concerns of the walkout. Her tone never changed, and the professionalism she displayed helped calm the water during this difficult time. Please help me honor Jana this month for a job well done and for her being a rock in the administration.
Yes.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Okay, if everyone that's been assembled for the student presentations wants to stay, you can, but we're going to move on to the business part of the agenda. So if you guys
By the way, guys, Luke Morgan will be attempting later this week to qualify for the U.S. Open, so we wish you luck on that.
Wow, yeah. Woo. Good luck. U.S. Open. That is, man.
Agenda item 10. Agenda item 10 is the Charter Oak Elementary School construction update from the Stacy Group and W.L. McNatt and Company.
I've asked our architect and our contractor to give the board an update on where we are with the construction of Charter Oak. As we all know, there's a lot hinging on this with the construction schedule and everything else. And so I don't know, I assume that they have spoken and decided in order how they want to present, but I'll let you guys go ahead and arm wrestle over it if you want to. Okay.
No, everybody should have one of these. I think if you don't, let me know. I have a few more, and I can leave some extras. And I just put together just a few progress pictures. These are as of this morning. Went out there and did some fish and site photos, and I tried to include just some of the original rendering that we did. And you'll see that we didn't update these, so it does still say Guthrie. That's just from way back when, just as a reference to kind of compare some of the construction photos to the rendering. So I'll just quickly go through some of the pictures we have. The first one is the classroom wing, which is the long wing that runs perpendicular to the road. On the outside, the EFS is probably 95%, 90% done. With on the corner there, you can see the masonry. We have some scaffolding to finish up. A little bit of work there. All the windows, storefront are in that wing. The next picture down is the front entry. And you can see there, again, the picture next to it is what the rendering of that will look like, so you can kind of reference the two. Again, they have storefront framing in there, the waterproofing weather barrier down below and up higher up, and they started the brick base course there. Little sky truck on the left is working on roofing over the media center there. Again, bottom of the classroom wing, EFS continuing there and finishing up that corner on both sides with the shelter in the background. Flip to the next page is a shot of the inside of the classrooms. All the classrooms look like this, I think. Charles said that they have some paint on 4 or 6 of those now as of this afternoon, but that's kind of the level the classrooms are at. See, the windows are in, it's all drywall taped in bed. All the electricity is pulled for all the lights, and the ductwork's in. As soon as they paint, do a primer course there, they'll hang the ceiling grid, the acoustical ceiling grid, and then be able to drop the lights and start to do finishes. The next one down is towards the front of the school, just one of the bulkheads that crosses the hall, and then that's looking out towards Charter Oak through the exterior door there. Next one down is the exterior of the shelter/gym with a rendering, just a reminder of what kind of the paint scheme is on the inside. Again, around the corner on this base here, they're doing the brick base course. They have about 18 inches up around the base, trying to get up above grade so they can get that grouted full and then move up. The brick goes to about where that black stripe is. and above that is stained. The precast is stained. As we move through, the next picture is I'm standing in the main hallway looking towards the office. Those are there'll be 2 sets of doors that walks in the office, and then where the steel is the secure vestibule. So those are the windows that have the security film on them as you walk in there for that extra level of protection. The middle picture, that's the roof over the office area, which has the base course down. They're working over the roofing above the media center, just to the side, and then we'll jump again. The next phase will be up here on top, which is the cafeteria, kitchen, stage area. The next one down is their continued framing. The framing's done here, and they're working on the plumbing. This morning there was some plumbing work being done for those restrooms. And again, just an image of what that reception desk will look like with the bulkhead and the painting there for reference. And this is kind of a shot earlier turns a little bit more towards just the front door. So that's the front entrance as you go out towards the charter oak. This is from the main corridor looking into the cafeteria. This rendering is from inside the cafeteria looking back towards those. Those will be the doors and glass that will lead into there. And then as you walk in, that's the proscenium opening for the stage, and then the windows out towards the back. And then that's a rendering of the proscenium. And that's sort of where they're at in the process, and I'll let Charles kind of fix the schedule where they go from here.
Sorry, I don't have a pretty handout. As Sean mentioned, the roofers are moving on over to Media Center. They should have it fully dried in, complete today, ready for any work inside. Depending on what the weather does to us this week, we're looking to actually have the entire roof where it's dry inside the building by Friday. Masonry, we still have a little bit of interior CMU walls, which were the large bathrooms right by there by the kitchen, left to finish up. Again, hoping to get those done by the end of the week, Monday, Tuesday at the latest. Plumbers, they were actually in the office area. It's all pressure tested. We're now just waiting on the inspectors to show up on it. The same with the electrical. He's done in there. We're just waiting on the inspector. Once those 2 come out, we can actually sheetrock all that office area. Mechanical guys actually have quite a bit of the ductwork ready and started roughing it in the office area. The glazing contractor, it's no secret to most of you, we lost our first guy. He went out of business. Our new guy has actually stepped up and moved in really fast. He's got all of the frames in throughout the entire building on the exterior, with the exception of the 3 on the north side of the cafeteria. Those are in fabrication. We should have those early next week. So by the end of next week, all of your windows will be in. The only thing we'll be waiting on is the factory to send us the doors. They're still 3.5 weeks out. Our framers are really down to minute details on walls, and then he's got some of the decorative fur downs in the ceilings he's working on now. He's got the media center mostly complete. So as soon as the electrician gets all his can lights roughed in there, we can actually start looking at sheetrocking those as well. Our painters did move on site today. The tape and bed was all done in those classrooms. At about 2:30 when I got my last update, they had 4 rooms done, and we're looking like 2 to 3 more by the end of the day. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. We should be looking pretty good by Wednesday, Thursday, have them all primed and start putting the first coat of paint on. The minute he's done with that first coat of paint, we'll have the ceiling grids going in that hallway and all the classrooms. And then it's a mere 2.5 weeks, get all the electrical and ceiling grid, or the mechanical devices in the ceiling. Those will be ready for millwork and floor. So as of right today, we're still looking mid-August for the classroom wings, having it ready, clean, done, and ready to turn over to you to move into. Office, corridor, and gym should be right around the same time frame as well. We've already gotten our bleachers for the gymnasium. They're in the building, ready to go, ready to be installed. So once those are in and we get heat and air turning and burning in there, the wood floor can go down and it'll be complete and ready for you as well. I still fall back and I'm a little leery about the kitchen, and I don't want to shoot big and tell you I can get it done before then, but I still think we're mid-September, just for the time frame it takes to set up all that equipment.
Charles, you might give an update on the, reported to the property committee on Monday night evening about the lagoon and the potential of some change order items there. And I think there's been some movement on some.
There has been some movement. I spoke with DEQ again today. They won't allow us to move the fence, but the gravel road was no problem, and I've talked to my sub, and I got his return number back. He went from about 16,000 down to about 11,500 after we revised that road plan. So we got a little cost savings there. I didn't get a chance to get the number from my utility contractor on that vault today. I was hoping to have it from him this morning, but.
But the other part that you probably should mention is that the change in the DEQ's position on modifying the elevations.
That was one of the other phone calls that I didn't receive back from them. The first person I spoke to said it was no problem, it was just an as-built marking. The engineers went and talked to a different person at DEQ, and they are saying that we cannot change elevations without going back through the submittal process. It's a costly fix to change the elevation in there with that lagoon liner. And I'm trying to avoid that in any way possible. I wasn't able to make contact with the same person that the engineer spoke with, but I did speak to who was supposed to be taking over, and she assured me it wasn't a problem, but one hand and another don't always go hand in hand with DEQ.
So at this point we don't
At this point I don't have an answer.
Okay.
I will keep working on them daily until I get something for you.
Okay, question. I'm going back to the architects first. On this whole change order thing on the lagoon and the road, did you not have that in your specs that the road was going to be in there? I mean, you all were supposed to know about how to do a lagoon to begin with.
Sure, absolutely. I'll try to explain a little bit for the civil engineers. I don't want to make excuses or anything.
This is a civil engineer, that would have been his job, I agree.
Correct, but so when we submit it, how do I explain this without making it sound like an excuse? When we submit for any sort of governmental approval, whether it be just the general building permit, or whether it's DEQ, or in this case DEQ because we're unincorporated, but if it's in the city of Edmond or any city limits, we submit drawings. We several times, quite often actually, we will submit drawings to them, have meetings with them up front. They send emails to us saying, this is what we expect you to do. This is what we're asking you to do. We've all coordinated meetings, and they come back during review and say, I know we changed our mind. And so that's what happened in this case, is due diligence was done up front. And as you know, it took probably 7 months or so of review for DEQ, of iteration after iteration, comment back from them and back from them. And some of it's what they call authority having jurisdiction. It's not necessarily every part and parcel of that is not necessarily black and white. Do exactly this. Like the fence, for example, and say the fence has to be
350 feet existing or planted. I got the regs here. That's why I'm questioning this. It specifically says in these regs, provide an all-weather access road to the lagoon site. So it was in the regulations. So I don't understand why we're having to come back and do a change order and pay for this when you architects obviously didn't read the regulations. That says straight in the DEQ. It took me 4 hours to find this, but it's out there. It specifically says that.
And I'll certainly have that discussion with Wallace.
Yeah, this come back money out of our pockets. It's your mistake. Totally, because it was in the regulations to begin with.
So yeah, I understand what she's saying. What are you talking about as a change order? What are we talking about it's gonna cost us? To put a all-weather, is that all-weather road in
Right.
that should have been put in the plans to begin with?
And that's what she's referring to, is it's in addition to what was bid on the construction documents. So that's where the cost.
Okay, was that road in your specs to him?
No,
Then-
their interpretation of the access to there was different than
Okay, so your
ours.
specs were wrong. And
Well,
based upon this.
based upon their-
And I
based
know
upon
change
their-
order percentages are more expensive than the original cost bid would have been.
Sure.
True, very true.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
I think we have a discussion here that needs to go further than us just doing a change order and paying for it.
And how much are we looking at?
I don't know.
Road-wise was 11,500 and some change.
Well, that came down. That was much lower than the price we were
The
getting the
original
other day.
price was
It
around
was
20.
30 to 40 or something,
Yeah, it was much higher than that at the beginning of the day.
No, now that 30 to 40 encompassed all of the items that they came back and changed on us.
On the elevation and,
No, it was, they changed some of the piping, some of the lagoon structures for.
who's they?
DEQ.
DEQ? But
They didn't change this one.
they didn't change that a road needed to be in there.
No, ma'am.
That should have been in there from the get-go. And it should have been provided for in the original bid.
But it wasn't in the architect specs. So it's not the contractor, it's the architects who didn't put it in the specs like they should have.
And it shouldn't fall on us. I mean, is that
That's
what
what
I'm
I'm
thinking?
saying.
I mean, is that what I'm reading?
Generally, when you're talking about a construction project such as this, if an item was left out of the specifications or out of the drawings, if it had been included in the drawings, the owner would still have had to pay for it. Now, granted, with the contract, with the specifications not being in the drawings, there is some usually discussions on, you'd have the cost of the work to be done, and then generally work with the architect to address any fee contributions.
So they changed now, are you saying that the DEQ has come back and changed the elevation requirements for our lagoon?
From the original permit application, yes.
What haven't they changed? I mean, it seems like I don't even know if they know what they're doing.
And was there an explanation given to why that is?
I don't know that, again, it goes to their interpretation of flood levels. Sorry, I should have had the civil engineer explain it more clearly, but they wanted the lagoon in a little different spot, which caused the base of the lagoon to be at a different elevation.
After we already built it?
Well, the confusion was when the application or the permit was picked up, DEQ didn't say that part wasn't approved. So they were under full impression that our original application was approved. Then they came back after that and said, no, we did not approve it. We want you to resubmit it. And we went through several meetings and iterations.
I know we had a lot of meetings on it, but this DEQ rig that I read tonight says you have to have an all-weather access road. That was in the regs before we started. It's in the regs today, and we didn't allocate for it. I just want to know, we're like 70 days behind, right?
Yes.
There's only one ball. Who dropped it? There's only two of you. Somebody's dropped it.
Well, on the DEQ portion, I don't know that that's separate of the building as far as time. I mean, really, we couldn't do anything until we had approval from DEQ, and that process took, I don't know, 6 months or some time for them to get the
I'm
building.
talking about the entire structure. We went, I think when Travis and I first spoke with you guys, we visited several schools. I drove to Pryor and several other places, and one of the big reasons that we wanted to go with the Stacy group was, there was something about small number of change orders, small changes, timely completion. Am I wrong, Travis?
No, I was curious, how many change orders have we had?
We've had one up to this point, and that is for the water line, because it was not where
That one couldn't really be helped. I
If we take
understand.
the water line out, you're actually at a credit. We have 4 change orders, and there's a net credit back to the district of about $3,000.
Before we start talking about this, the lagoon.
Yes.
But prior.
Right, prior to that, there's a credit.
So this
you're gonna
would be the
you were gonna
second
get money
change
back
order.
up to that point.
There will be some other change orders that will be deducts, but this will push us where it will
There's
cost.
4 change orders right now, right?
Correct. 4 changes that, I don't know if you call it change order, from the allowance that we had in the project, and if you total those all up, it's a negative credit back to you. There are no additional adds at this point.
I think the most important thing is we still don't know what we're talking about financially to meet the DEQ spec that they provided, that they have given us a permit on. And I think it's incumbent upon Charles, you, that we have that information so that we can then begin the discussion of how it will be paid for. But we still do not know what we're talking about, and this has been an ongoing issue.
It sounds like they both spoke to DEQ today, or in the last day or two.
Yes.
And you both came away with different information. I mean, is that not correct?
Yes.
Well,
From 2
can we
different
not
people.
get together and call them at one time? Or go see them at one time, or?
Well, we absolutely can, and we'll do that.
Yes.
I mean, everything seems to be slowing us down, so I've got a lot of kids, and the whole district's gonna be affected here because of this, and all I'm wanting to do is get school started.
Well, one thing that, as you can tell, I'm not defending anyone here, but one thing that has been a challenge, and I know I've shared this with the board, is the one person that was in charge of the design and approving the design, we went back and forth. He is no longer a part of our situation and our approval of the permit.
That's DEQ.
Yes.
I'm just talking about, we're 70-some days behind on the whole project.
And I'm speaking about the
Some of
lagoon
that's weather though.
right now. And I'm speaking specifically on the lagoon and the DEQ approval of it, because that's the part that we're talking about right now on the change order. And we still don't know what it will cost to get the lagoon built to the spec that the DEQ has provided, which, and I will get to this, I've got to make this statement officially in my report, but we have received a permit from the DEQ to build it, a building permit, to build it with the specs that they have provided. And so we need to get the cost of that and then figure out how it's going to be paid for.
Okay.
So the permit that was originally provided to us when we first began the project is no longer,
That was a stormwater drainage permit. That was part of the problem, is W.L. McNatt did not understand and was
they
informed.
gave the wrong permit.
We needed stormwater drainage, but they did not obtain the permit for the lagoon. So we have had to go through and do that.
After we had
After-
started construction of
Yes.
the lagoon.
Yes.
And they did not understand we were doing it in a lagoon? McNabb?
No. I turned all of the plans into DEQ.
Okay, I'm sorry. I can't
I'm
see
sorry.
you, so
Sure.
there's a little
Yeah, please
sign.
do.
Thank you. I hear a voice, but I don't see anybody. Thank you.
Before we ever even moved a piece of equipment on site, we
Okay.
turned in plans and requests to DEQ
Right.
and told them we need all of the permits necessary for all of the construction on site. They only cut us.
But they did not provide you the lagoon permit.
They did not cut us a lagoon permit.
And so we just still started construction then of the lagoon.
Correct.
So that maybe be your fault that we're not in regulation at this point, your company.
In an instance of that, I don't know.
Is it
I mean,
normal? Is it normal for you to start something without having a permit?
this is not a standard permit. When
Have you built lagoons before?
me personally, no.
Your company?
Your company?
The
has?
company has years in the past, yes. But
Stacy Group,
This is-
they knew a lot about building lagoons when we first hired them as the architects. That was one of the things they knew a lot about and were really pushing.
when we make an application for a permit, it's already been through review. Stacy Group did their due diligence, turned in the plans. We turn around, turn in the plans again with all of the applications. But the way those permits were listed didn't specifically list. DEQ's permits don't list out every line item. So
They don't have like permit for lagoon, permit for sewer.
Water drainage.
Water drainage, yeah.
it's listed in, correct me if I'm wrong, it's SWQ 107 or SWQ P 104.
Does your firm have legal counsel to help with the permitting process?
No, not in a permit process instance like this, no. Generally, and this is going with everyone other than DEQ, when I turn in a set of plans, I turn it into one person. They send it out to all of their departments and do not give anything back to me until they have everybody lumped in who needs to see it. That didn't happen on this one.
Because?
I honestly have no idea. I'm not going to sit here and point fingers.
That's somebody with your company that you turn all of that stuff?
No. Well, I walk into DEQ, or I walk into the city of Oklahoma City, or the city of Guthrie. I hand them a set of plans and a permit application, and they call me when it's ready. And they have gone through all of their departments.
And then, of course, we had a breakdown with not always having consistent representation from the DEQ.
And the thing that I learned, because this is my first go around with the DEQ, they have different divisions that are not the best at speaking to each other internally as well. That was something that I
Typical
gathered from this meeting.
So at this point, we need a road, we need to change the elevation, and we need to change the fencing.
And some structures. Some of the structures that would be transferring the water from the main lagoon to the secondary.
Is this all fixable by August?
Yes. Yes.
But we just need, what you're saying is we just need an amount?
You need an amount and then figure out how we're going to pay for it.
Because it's going to cost, because there's going to be change orders, going to be costing quite a bit more than we had budgeted for.
How much excavation are you talking on elevation change?
Little over a foot on one and about 15 inches on the other.
That's the bottom of the lagoon elevation. So that's a significant amount of money.
It's a lot of
I
time.
assume you're probably in sandstone at that point, right?
Well, no, it's actually, we have to remove,
You built it up, yeah.
we have to remove the bentonite clay that's in there, add dirt, and then bring it back.
At what point will you have an estimate of cost? Or do you have an estimate of cost?
I have everything but the structures. We've been trying to find someone that has precast structures in the design that the DEQ has come up with. We're at the point now where I've turned it over to a concrete guy to form and build it on site. I just didn't get the cost back from him.
One thing, when this started going astray is when we began meeting weekly instead of bi-weekly. So we are continuing to meet weekly.
Is there any talk about, is there any additional work hours like weekends, second shifts, anything going on now that we're inside and that equipment needs to be put in that we have built in or capable of doing to try to ensure we get a timeline that we can still fit school in for this next year?
Yeah, our masons have actually been working 12, 14 hours a day, 6 days a week for the last month and a half. Our painters worked through the weekend. The roofers worked Saturday and Sunday. Everybody that can be or is behind has pulled extra hours or weekends to bring themselves back up into place.
So you said all the classrooms are sheetrocked and getting painted right now?
They began painting in them today. Around 2:30 when I got my last update, they had 4 done and we're moving into the next 2. So I assume they have at least 6 done. Primered, be ready for its first coat very soon. We're going to run through and get them all primered and then backtrack through and get them all painted, and then we'll start sealing grid and finishes behind.
So our biggest issue is just still the lagoon and the DEQ and, I mean, well, it was, you know, all that, the lagoon, which has been a...
Okay, well, thank you. Any other
Thank you.
questions or discussion by the board? Okay. Agenda item 11, comments to the board by citizens registered to speak.
We have none.
Board members, any comments? I wanted to recognize Dr. Simpson tonight. I received a letter from the Oklahoma Association of School Administrators, which is a member of the Association Cooperative Council of Oklahoma School Administration, COSA, and they have informed me that Dr. Simpson has been selected as the OASA District 3 Superintendent of the Year for 2018.
Ooh.
That's quite an honor. He was, so superintendents are recognized for what they have contributed to the profession through leadership and advocacy for public education. And I think Dr. Simpson certainly deserves that. He is now a finalist for 2018 State Superintendent of the Year Award. So wishing luck there, and it's a very deserving recognition and award.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good. Congratulations.
So now we have agenda item 12, the superintendent's report.
Okay, it is lengthy because it is the spring. We held the prom on April 28th at the Dominion House, and as always, I attended, and it appeared to be a tremendous success. I left before things got kind of crazy. Mr. LeGrand, I assume you stayed for all of it, but no, the kids were looked like they were having a real good time. And also, recently, the Albert Pike Lodge honored GHS students who have achieved all A's through their time in high school, and it's held in the Masonic Temple on May the 9th. Some important dates for the board members to keep in mind. Tomorrow night is the Senior Academic Awards Night at the high school cafeteria. That begins at 6:30 p.m. Wednesday night is baccalaureate service at 7 o'clock at First Christian Church. Graduation, high school graduation will be at Jelsman Stadium beginning at 7:30 p.m. In the event of inclement weather, we do have the option that evening of going to the Lazy E. And we will try to, obviously our goal is to have it at Jelsman Stadium, but also we don't want to have to bail water. So, and as you know, in the spring in Oklahoma, anything can happen. Last year proved it. And we want to thank the folks at the Lazy E for working with us on that, since they did not have an event scheduled. Then again, May 25th, as we all know, is the last day of school. Some accomplishments from our students. The academic team from Guest competed in a recent academic bowl sponsored by the Oklahoma Association for Academic Competition, and they did very well. Science finished first place. Language arts literature finished third. Social studies 5th place. Fine arts and humanities 6th place. Math 3rd place. And the sweepstakes overall was 3rd place. So congratulations to the students from GIS for that. On Saturday, April 28th, our junior division, which is ages 12 to 15 of the Special Olympics Unified Flag Football Team, won the championship in Yukon. This is the first year they have participated. 5 Special Olympic athletes teamed up with 2 unified partners, and the team was coached by Michael Harmon. So congratulations to those students. Another part of the spring that I wanted to mention is this last week was one of the more successful weeks that we've had in athletic competition since I've been in Guthrie. Mr. Chappell informed me that we had our student athletes received 20 medals in the various competitions with state tennis, state track meet. Of course, we have the state golf champions as well. So it's been a good spring, and our kids have done well. And I wasn't just saying it because they were there, but I watched when you don't have a senior on your golf team and you look as mature as those kids did under adversity at times, that was very impressive. So great job to our coaches on that. Shifting our focus to some other items, as I mentioned earlier in the information item, the Oklahoma Department of Environmental Quality has approved the permit for the lagoon at Charter Oak Elementary, and they have requested that be in the board minutes. Now, another item that's kind of related to what Mr. Lee mentioned earlier. Doug Ogle has been selected as the District 3 OASA Assistant Superintendent / Central Office Administrator of the Year for 2018, and will now enter the competition for state at the state level for that. So congratulations to Mr. Ogle. Very nice. Because of an agenda item under consideration tonight related to the calendar for 2018-19, we are asking our attorney to revise our teacher contract. I expect the language for duration of the contract to refer to the calendar approved by the Board of Education, and we're hopeful to have a revised draft for the board in June. Now I'm going to turn to an item that has come up since our last meeting. Obviously, we've had a lot of things happen in education. The legislature passed the largest pay raise in state history for teachers. Also passed a large tax increase with a huge threshold. But the greatest concerns developed since the last board meeting has been the potential challenge to House Bill 1010XX, which is the tax increases that provide the funding mechanism for the education budget. This includes the teacher pay raises. The required signatures if the required signatures for the petition are submitted, collection on those taxes will cease until an election. Superintendent Hoffmeister has requested an AG opinion on how the repeal of House Bill 1010XX affects House Bill 1023XX, which is the teacher pay raise bill. The way the budget is structured in the education budget and the way 1010XX is funneling revenue into the budget, if 1010XX is repealed, our projections are that 73% of the budget is all that we will have revenue for. In other words, there will be a 27% cut in the State Department of Education budget for schools, and that's money that goes into the formula. The vast portion of that is, of course, for the teacher pay raises. And so essentially what the AG opinion will contain is, in the event that we receive a cut in revenue as a state, are we still obligated to pay the teachers the full amount of their raises, or can that be prorated to the, with the 27% cut, or do we go back to the original, this last year's pay scale? And quite frankly, there are more questions than there are answers with this. It is a very, it has been very fluid on possibilities, but the key element, and I'm glad Superintendent Hoffmeister requested it, is we've got to get an AG's opinion on how 1023, the language of that and how that works, because it says it shall be enacted, but we don't really know what that means when you take away the funding for it. Essentially, if we have run some preliminary numbers, we're continuing to look at those numbers to see how that affects us, but essentially, if we were to maintain our current staffing level, provide 100% of the teacher pay raises, and receive 73% of the revenue to fund them, that would eat into approximately 1/4 of our carryover. So that's not a reasonable scenario with fiscal responsibility for the district. We're continuing to work through the numbers and also weighing the AG's opinion. It's conventional thought from most people that we will not have an AG's opinion on this until after the primary on June 26th. So we'll wait. And that.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14 begins the business agenda. We have item A, recommendation, consideration, and action to approve teachers and administrator as listed for 2018 K through 8 remedial summer school for 2nd and 3rd grade students.
I make a motion that we approve the teachers and administrators as listed for 2018 K through 8 remedial summer school for 2nd and 3rd grade students.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14B, recommendation, consideration, and action upon amendment to renew agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2018 to 2019.
It's an annual item that we bring to the board because of the loads that we have at several of our sites. We're able to purchase natural gas at a much reduced rate, and then we pay O&G for the delivery of that. Recommend approval.
I make,
Go
ahead.
I make a motion that we approve the agreement with Clearwater Enterprises for the purchase of third-party natural gas for 2018-2019.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
It's been a nice savings. Really done, it's good.
Agenda item 14C, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal with the National Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with BIBORD National Purchasing Cooperative for 2018 to 2019.
This is a group, the membership in this does not have a cost and allows us to purchase things at a bulk rate through the interlocal group. A lot of school districts use this, and we want to have the opportunity to do this. This is a way that we would still purchase from the vendor, but if we purchase through BIBORD, they have found the lowest price on that, so it streamlines our purchasing. Recommend approval.
I make a motion, we approve the renewal with National Purchasing Cooperative Interlocal Participation Agreement with BIBORD National Purchasing Cooperative for 2018-2019.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Pennington?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Salih?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14D, recommendation, consideration, and action upon renewal agreement with Frontline Technologies for time and attendance system and ASOP services for 2018 to 2019.
This is the item that tracks our leave, sick leave, personal leave, vacation, and also is key in us assigning substitute teachers. And we have used this company for many years and are very satisfied with it, recommend approval.
I make a motion that we approve the renewal agreement with Frontline Technologies for time and attendance system and ASOP services for 2018-2019.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Pennington?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
Davis? Yes. Watts?
Yes.
Salih?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14E, recommendation, consideration, and action upon agreement with Quality Care Labs, LLC, for student drug testing services for 2018 to 2019.
This is a firm that we use. This is a turnkey operation. The participants in extracurriculars, well, they're provided a list, and then they use their software to randomly select students for drug testing. And price, we shop the price around. This is a very competitive price, and we've been very satisfied this last year with their services. We switched companies going into this last year because the company that we previously used had gone out of business. They'd sold themselves off, and we've been very satisfied with this group.
I move we approve the agreement with Quality Care Labs, LCC, for student drug testing for services for 2018-19.
Second.
The motion and a second. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Pennington?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Salih?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14F, recommendation, consideration, and action upon proposed revised school calendar for 2018 to 2019, including the addition of 10 minutes to each school day.
You heard earlier from our contractor and our architect regarding the progress at Charter Oak. Because of where we are with the progress, we and the ongoing discussions that we've had with them, we reconvened, I think remotely, the calendar committee in order to go to what we dubbed Plan B back when we approved the calendar a few months ago. And at this time, we recommend that we amend our calendar for 2018-19. The calendar is on page 86 of your board packet, and it has a start date of classes for September 4th. That will give the additional time so that our contractor can finish the school and we can get moved in.
How do you add the 10 minutes? What do you do? I mean,
We'll look at 5 minutes before school, 5 minutes
But, I mean,
before and 5 minutes after.
educational-wise, is I guess my question.
It's used essentially to meet the minimum 1,080 hours. And we exceed that by how many days?
About 8.5 days to be able to fall back on bad weather by adding continues. Not really, instead of putting those back towards the end and trying to gather those, if we did have some bad weather, this gives us time to play with the heat. So I think what Janae, are you asking too?
Yeah, is it going to be 10 more minutes of walking the halls, or how's it going? That's my question.
I think each principal will sit down and then look at their schedule and probably put those as a couple minutes per class.
I make a motion we approve the revised school calendar for 2018-2019, including the addition of 10 minutes to each school day.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley?
Yes.
Pearson?
Yes.
Pennington?
Yes.
Bennett Johnson?
Yes.
Davis?
Yes.
Watts?
Yes.
Salih?
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 14G, recommendation, consideration, and action to open Charter Oak Elementary Schools for the 2018-2019 school year, which will host pre-K through 4th grade students.
This is the first time that I've been a superintendent when we open a new school, and when we asked the State Department of Education for a district building code number for this site, we were informed that we have to have a board action item that the board is authorizing the district to open the school, and then they will provide us with a code so that when it goes into the mainframe computer in the State Department, they know which students are assigned to that building.
I make a motion, we approve the action to open Charter Oak Elementary School for the 2018-2019 school year, which will host pre-K through 4th grade students.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion or questions?
I just want to I would ask that we clarify for the people watching at home or on the internet or whatever, why we had to go to B about what you told us that we can't move during a semester break. And you know, we want to make that move. So if we could just clarify it for the people so they would know why we're doing what we're doing.
Shall I do that after we take a vote?
That's fine.
We've got a motion and a second. Let's go. Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, this is more on item F from the agenda, but addressing this because, as I said earlier, the construction schedule, we are behind to the point that we are going to have to push back the start of school. And because of that, and the nature of, this is a unique situation. We are not building onto a site or something like that where we are going to completely change the configuration of the district. And that is a monumental undertaking that cannot be done at semester. That's not realistic. It cannot be done at fall break. And so the options are we either push back the start of the school year, or we have a building that sits, a brand new building that sits empty for almost a year.
School year.
And that's not something that we want to do, but things happen with construction, and we're trying to find a way that impacts the students the least amount. And that's the key element here, is we're trying to, and trying to move students from one elementary to another in the middle of the school year, especially students of that age, is not a realistic ask, in my opinion, of our students or our staff.
Thank you, Dr. Simpson.
Or the parents.
Agenda item 14H, discussion, consideration of possible action to award the contract for Guthrie Junior High renovation project.
Okay, I have some good news about construction now. We opened the bids Thursday for the junior high renovation. And this, we looked at the scope of this, and we were very careful to place the scope where we knew that we could get it, we felt confident that we could get it under our budget figure. On a project such as this, with the junior high building, the age that it is and the condition that it is, it's, what I liken it to is starting to paint one wall in your house and not finishing until you painted the entire interior of the house, because one wall makes the rest of the house, makes the rest of the room look dirty, or etc. When we set out to put this out for bid, we talked about the very front of the junior high for the waterproofing, the tuck pointing, and the windows. And then we added the west side of the original portion of the building so that the entire, as an alternate, so the entire front of that building could be treated. We added that as an alternate, and then we added another alternate, which is one of the biggest problems that we have on the back side of the building with water getting into the cafeteria. And so as we added those alternates, we tried to be very careful to make sure that when we opened the bids, we had options that we could accept that would still be within our budget. And as it turned out, we're able to accept both alternates, and the low bid is Pope, and that dollar figure is $576,200. And and Sean, if there's anything that I missed there.
No, you covered it.
So that's our recommendation, and again, this is just phase one of what we had planned to do to the junior high, but it is what we told was on for the voters and what they approved.
Is any of these bidders, were they anyone that had done Central?
Genco. They're the one that did Central.
We were pretty pleased with them.
Yeah, they did a good job, and
They're really high.
Yeah.
not that much.
Yeah, not that much
We
better.
weren't that pleased. Oh, I'm sorry. Where is Pope out of? Do I need to
Sean?
wait and ask that?
No, you can. Sean.
Oklahoma City. They bid on quite a few of our projects. They haven't been successful in any of them, but they bid
Okay.
probably 50% of them.
Sean, can you stand up, please?
Have you seen any of their work? I mean, is it good? Is it?
Yeah, the last project they did was, it wasn't this historic renovation kind of project, but it was like a 35,000 square foot activity center shelter for, I think, Anadarko schools.
But it was a new.
New. But this is in scope, we're not renovating the inside of the building. We're not doing kind of that level of scope. It's taking windows out and putting windows back in. The mason's doing tuck pointing on the outside. Really all the scope of the work is kind of exterior to the building. There's really 3 trades, the waterproofer, the mason, and then the glazer.
Do you feel confident in them since you just see new?
I've not personally worked with them before. I can't vouch for them personally, but from the work I've seen, they're capable of the work.
And we received affirmation from the contractor that their price covers the scope of work.
I spoke to the contractor, and he said he would honor his bid. The price was good, and he acknowledged, we have 2 allowances in here. He acknowledged the allowances of the alternate and the addendum on his bid form. But I talked to him on Friday, the day after the bid. He said he was good. I think we were quite a bit under.
And the budget figure for that was $750,000.
So that's good.
Two different, yeah.
Does that answer your question, Jennifer? Okay. Do we have a motion and a second?
We haven't got a motion.
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the suggested bid for the renovation on junior high.
From Pope?
From Pope Construction, I guess it is.
Whatever.
Do we have a second?
Second? Sorry.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis.
Yes.
Watts.
Yes.
Salih.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 15, proposed executive session for the purpose of discussing employment of personnel, FMLA request, resignation, separation from employment, and transfer of position request. All is set out on the personnel reports. Discussion of extra duty assignments for 2017 to 2018 and 2018 to 2019. Rehiring of support personnel is listed for 2018 to 2019. Discussion of teacher negotiations for 2018 to 2019. Discussion of resignation agreement of Gina Valva. Periodic annual evaluation in terms of employment for Dr. Michael Simpson, Superintendent of Schools. And discussing and assessing the vulnerability of GPS facilities to acts of terrorism, and discussing plans for deterrence or prevention of or protection from acts of terrorism, disclosure of which information would violate the confidentiality requirements of state and or federal law, all pursuant to 25 Oklahoma Statutes, Section 307B, 1, 2, 7, and 9. A vote to go into executive session. Roll call, please.
I make a motion we go into executive session.
Second.
Roll call now, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Okay, it's agenda item 15B. It's time to acknowledge the board's return to open session. Let me repeat that. Only items in agenda 15 were discussed in executive session and no votes were taken. This shall constitute the executive session minutes. So agenda item 16, vote on action as set out on the personnel reports.
I make a motion, we approve the action as set out on the personnel reports.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 17, action upon recommendation of extra duty assignments as listed for 2017 to 2018.
Make a motion that we approve the recommendation for extra duty assignments.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 18, action upon recommendation to rehire support personnel as listed for 2018 to 2019.
I move we rehire the support personnel as listed for 2018-19 in our packets.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 19, action upon recommendation of extra duty assignments for Guthrie High School girls basketball coach for 2018 to 2019.
Mr. President, I recommend that the district employ Malcolm Roberts as our girls basketball coach for 2018-2019. They got to vote first.
Oh, yeah. Second.
We got a first motion?
Yeah.
Okay, so roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Welcome, Coach Roberts.
Agenda item 20, action upon recommendation of extra duty assignments for the Guthrie High School boys basketball coach for 2018 to 2019.
Mr. President, I recommend that we employ Sean Morgan as our head boys basketball coach for 2018-2019.
So moved. Oh, second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 21, recommendation, consideration, and action to enter into the resignation agreement with Gina Villavalva and to accept her resignation.
Mr. President, I recommend that the board enter into a resignation agreement with Gina Villavalva and accept the resignation.
I make a motion that we accept the resignation agreement with Gina Villavalva and accept her to accept her resignation.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 22, recommendation, consideration, and action to accept any resignations offered since the posting of this agenda.
Mr. President, we have 2 resignations to accept tonight that were presented to the board after the board agenda was posted. Julie Dietz, Guthrie Upper Elementary, and Michelle Helmberger at Central Elementary. Recommend acceptance.
I make a motion that we accept the resignations offered since the posting of the agenda of Julie Dietz and Michelle Helmberger.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salee.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
Agenda item 23, discussion and possible action on new business not known about or could not have been reasonably foreseen at the time of the agenda posting.
Mr. President, I have one item for consideration by the board under new business. Today, I received a request from Eddie Coleman for the use of school buses, 2 buses on June 5th and 6th. They will be renting the buses to transport students from the OKC area to Guthrie in order to do some community service projects in our schools. And transportation can provide these buses, and I recommend that we approve them.
I make a motion, we approve the request of Edie Coleman to use our buses on June 5th and 6th.
Second.
Cool.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion?
I got a question. I love this guy. I know he's work. Is this for the church? Since he's announced for Senate, I just want to make it clear. Is it for the church?
It is for the church.
And I'm fully supportive.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salih.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.
We have a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Smedley.
Yes.
Pearson.
Yes.
Pennington.
Yes.
Bennett Johnson.
Yes.
Davis. Yes. Watts.
Yes.
Salih.
Yes.
7 ayes, 0 nays.